Hey everybody, it's me. I know it's been a while. This has been the longest gap between videos since I've started this channel. But things are changing and I just want to talk to you about that real quick here. This is going to be a very off-the-cuff video. I'm not going to edit it down a lot. Not much of a production, but I just wanted to share some things going on with you in just a very conversational way. So I want to get right down to business so you're not stuck watching this without knowing what's going on. I want to be really upfront. Just tell you what's happening and what this is all about. And then I can go more into my reasoning and thinking and stuff like that for people who want to stick around for all that. Basically, make a long story short, and this is kind of a hard thing to talk about, even though it's something that's overdue and something that I want to do. I am going to be changing things up on YouTube quite a bit, to the extent that I'm not going to be doing this channel anymore. I am going to be starting a different channel. I think I'm going to call it Mr. Z, which it's a really corny name, but I'm not good at coming up with names. And let's face it, this one's called Prophet of Zod. So I've really crossed over that weird, corny, random sounding name thing. So what it's going to be about is I'm just going to talk about things I'm interested in. So it could be about, movies, literature, games, my thoughts on just random stuff, topics I'm interested in, various philosophical things. And it's not going to be specifically about atheism or politics or anything like that, but those values are going to come through in what I talk about. So it's just going to be, sometimes I'm going to want to be distracted. You might want to be distracted. You might just want to listen to me talk about something fun. I might just want to talk about something fun. Sometimes I might want to talk about something more heavy. So that's just what I feel like doing right now for reasons I'm going to get into here in just a second. So basically, if you want to hear me talk about stuff, if you just like watching me personally, if you like the way I analyze things and break things down, that will be the place to go do it. And link will be in the description here, and I'll probably put it in a tagged comment. Now, I know people are going to have a lot of feelings about this. Some of you might like watching me no matter what. You might just like the way I talk about things. You might have gotten accustomed to me the way people do with YouTubers. If that's the case, you might want to go over there and watch me. A lot of you might not. And I know this is going to be a very small undertaking, and that's kind of part of the idea here. But I know others of you will miss having me do this kind of content. You might be upset with me about the change. I understand all that. Leave whatever comments you want to leave. Feel whatever you need to feel about this. I have to do what's right for me and what I enjoy doing, and I feel like this change is a little bit overdue. So that's just where I'm coming from here. I also want to be clear, I'm not totally abandoning the atheist space. I am still doing my live streams at Anza. That's just more of a conversational and fun thing. I don't want to put the amount of work I have been into this topic, but sitting around having conversations about it is still cool. So that will still be there. I don't know. I kind of hate doing this, but it's something I really feel like, I don't know if need to do is the right way to put it, but it's something I really want to do. And it's something I've wanted to do for quite a while. So there's been a lot going on in my mind with this channel, and I don't know, just the way this whole thing fits into my big picture of my life. Shortest way of putting it is I feel like I'm just getting a little burnt out on atheist content, and I've been that way for a while here. A few weeks ago, you might have noticed that I had put I'd mentioned that at the end of a video, I was going to be talking about my thoughts on my channel and where it was going and stuff like that. And so I actually just forgot to put that at the end. I had this whole thing where I talked about it kind of like I am now. And I just forgot to edit it onto the end of the video before I uploaded it. So I just put in a tagged comment talking about how I was getting a little bit bored with my own work. I felt like I was just on a treadmill, and I just wasn't really enjoying what I was doing that much. And so I was going to change things up, add a little bit more variety, things like, reviews of God's Not Dead movies and stuff like that. I started switching things from just the normal repetitive response videos. But I started to realize that I think there's more to it than that. I find I'm not that interested in atheist content anymore. And a big part of it is I think it's just repetitive how long do you talk about the fact that you don't believe in God? I've made this last longer than I thought I would. And I've kept it fresh to me longer than I thought I would, largely by talking about the interaction of Christianity and, us as secular or atheist people. But eventually, I don't know, it gets a little old, or you get tired of talking about it over and over and over again. Part of the problem is that part of my life is just way past me. I was at first kind of doing this as I processed my own experience leaving the faith and fleshing out the fact that I was a non-believer. Then I was kind of solidifying a lot of my ideas. And then I think I was speaking from a place of more experience. Now I've gotten to the point where that stuff is so far beyond me, so far in my past, I just don't really feel it anymore. It feels like a distant, long ago thing that just doesn't feel relevant to me. And I've become a little bit more like a secularized person. So when I talk about all this, I'm talking about it from more of a detached, uninterested place than I would like to. And there's a couple problems with that. Number one, I'm just not enjoying what I'm doing. I think it's been over a year since I've really enjoyed making this kind of content. And it's been a few months that I've actually been conscious about that and try to think about what I wanted to do about that. So that's part of it. I just want to talk about things that are more relevant to my life right now. And I feel so detached from atheism and the whole clash between that and fundamentalist religion that this just isn't me anymore. And I want to talk about things that are more me. And I hope for those of you who just like listening to me and follow me over to the other channel that you'll enjoy that. And maybe you'll find it more interesting and more rewarding when I'm talking about things that I feel more closely connected to and interested in. Some of you might just say, this is still really relevant to me. I still enjoy listening to it. And that's fine. And I really am sorry if that's you and you wish I was still doing what I was doing. But I don't enjoy doing it the same way I used to. And whether or not it works for some people sometimes, I don't like the feeling of not being in touch with what I'm talking about and not really, I don't feel like I'm in control of my message or the tone of it as much when I'm coming from it from a place where I feel like I'm distant from the topic I'm talking about. So that's just that. It is what it is, I guess. I also have gotten really burnt out on the pace of YouTubing. And this channel has grown more than I ever thought it would. I never thought I would have this many subscribers or this many people regularly listening to what I had to say. It's blown my mind, and I appreciate every single one of you showing up and watching me. But keeping up the pace is really demanding. You become very conscious about the views you have. Not that I'm here to just, not that I'm just making content just to harvest views. But you need views to keep your channel healthy. If you're not growing, you're shrinking and falling apart. And also, it feels like an indicator of how interested people are. So you have to keep chasing the algorithm. You have to keep on a schedule, and you have to just keep putting your content out. And it takes a lot of work. For me, it's a huge workload. I don't know if I work harder at the same content than other YouTubers do, but you might have noticed about me that I'm just not super charismatic. So I rely a lot on scripting, even though I'm not reading directly from scripts now that I do face reveal videos. I still script everything out and put it in an outline that I follow pretty closely, and then I edit down my work. And so to articulate everything right, to keep up any kind of reasonable pace that people are going to want to watch, it takes a lot of work. And then to put out videos every other week. Basically, since I do have a full-time job that can be mentally taxing, I am putting everything I have left into these videos that I'm not spending time with family, which I'm very deliberate about doing. So I just find that I just don't relax anymore. I haven't read a book in too long. I looked out on my back deck and realized I've just never really sat out here in a long time, and I just want time to do other things. So on this new channel, I'm going to still put things out. I need to have that creative aspect to my life. I need to scratch that itch, as it were. But I don't want to do it on the same pace. And I just feel like that's gotten a little bit out of control. So I'm definitely at peace with the fact that my new endeavors on YouTube are going to be smaller in terms of views and things like that. And that's fine with me. I'm cool with that. But I want to release videos when I'm interested. I'll probably release at some points longer, more involved videos, but I'm going to do them on a lighter schedule. Just take time and do things that I really like versus trying to make sure I put out enough content on the right schedule. So what you're watching might end up being of more quality, and I'll put more work into each individual one, even if I'm not releasing as often. And I might also from time to time just take time to talk about give off the cuff thoughts. So I might have shorter, just kind of fun videos. But either way, I'm just going to let this channel work for me instead of me working to serve this channel. So I don't know. I hope it ends up becoming a more just generally enjoyable experience. Oh, and by the way, there is a video up over there right now, so you can go check it out if you want to. I wanted to make sure there was something ready for you when I made this announcement. So feel free to watch that and see if you like it. Now, there is an elephant in the room here that I want to address because I never want to try to pull anything on all of you. I want to be very upfront about what I'm doing and why. So I don't think the timing is lost on anybody here that this is happening, shortly after the last political election. I'm not going to lie, very, very distraught and a little freaked out by the results, not just who won, but the extent by which they won. And that does get us all thinking about our future and our safety and what things are going to look like going forward. After that happened, I was just out of it, like a lot of you might have been. I was in a bad place. I was very, very worried to the point of being a little panicked, and I wasn't really in tune with my own motivations and why I was doing things and what kinds of reactions I was having. And I didn't like that. Part of it was I was a little panicked over what having a channel like this meant. I know I'm coming from a place of relative privilege in terms of what this society is going to look like. It's going to be bad for all of us, but I think it's going to be a lot worse for other people. But I did have a little bit of panic about what's it going to be like being an atheist YouTuber in this landscape. My feet are much more on the ground with that now. I've lost that sense of panic. I feel like I'm more in control. But once that all washed over me and I wanted to give that time to happen, I feel like this is still the right move for me. Basically, what that did is that just jolted me. For a while, I just kind of been on the treadmill doing what I was doing. I wanted to get off at some point and doing something different, but it's really hard to do because when you have a channel that's more or less working, you keep busy trying to put out the next product and keep it going. Just maintenance is all consuming. So you don't have the time. Number one, you don't want to stop and disrupt that and rebuild. That's hard to do. But then you're so busy with it, you don't have time to stop and reflect and think about what you're doing. And so all that stuff kind of collaborates to keep you just doing the same thing over and over again. And so this election and the little jolt that it gave me just kind of pushed me off the algorithm treadmill and gave me the prompt to just do something a little different. I'm not really sure whether an atheist channel or, a far left-leaning channel is going to be a very viable thing in the future. Is there going to be retaliation against people who do that kind of stuff? I'm not sure. Is it something that can stay up online? I don't know either. And I thought about that some. Number one, is the same kind of conversation that we've been having in a free society going to be as valuable and relevant moving forward? I'm not 100% sure. Is it good to be totally in your face with your material when all that happens is it gets taken down and then people don't have your voice anymore? Versus, are there more subtle ways to express yourself? I'm not sure about that either. But all that stuff just made my channel and just staying on the treadmill just to be on the treadmill seemed like a less obvious choice. And it just gave me that nudge to do something a little different that I wanted to do. So I don't want to sit here and just act like all that never happened, that doesn't exist, and that maybe somewhere deep down in me that is affecting my motivations. So I want to be upfront with you all, but this isn't a sudden thing where it's just changing me out of the blue and I'm reacting out of panic or anything like that. This is something that's been a long time coming, and it's just given me that nudge. And now I'm doing something that I want to do, and I think I'll be a lot happier doing. My first video is going to be a little politically charged, so it's not like I'm running and hiding or anything like that. Some of my stuff will reflect my personal politics and values and maybe even godlessness. It's not like that's all going away. I'm going to try to hide it. I'm just going to incorporate it into stuff that I just personally find more interesting. So Anyway, that's the message. I hope to see some of you over there. If you don't like what I'm doing, feel free to leave a comment, share your feelings. It's always a little hard to take people's negativity when you're a YouTuber, but in this case especially, I think that's valid, and I think it's okay for you to show what you're thinking and what you're feeling. I don't know that I can answer everything. It might be hard for me to read some of it, but I think it's important that you have the chance to say what you need to say. So that's that. Hope to see some of you over there. I expect the numbers to be a bit smaller, but I just want to have fun and do something that I enjoy, and I hope that you enjoy it more because of that. So goodbye, everybody. You know where to find me. And again, I keep saying it. I'm just rambling. Hope to see you over there. Bye.